Hello and welcome to Creatively Montessori. Today I'm going to share with you my second set of winter books that I would use in my classroom with early childhood kiddos, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. So I think these are perfect for that age group. These are all stories that are penguin related, which I'm going to use in December as part of our winter series. Whenever I do a book group, I try my very hardest to get a combination of books that are fiction and nonfiction, which can be hard for little people because sometimes the nonfiction books are either too long or too in-depth. So this grouping has a good balance between those two. I'm going to share each book and then a little bit what I like or what I think you would need to know before using this book. Our first book is 5 Little Penguins Slipping on the Ice. It is the equivalent to 5 monkeys jumping on the bed. So it's very sing-songy, very cute story, easy to understand. And by the time you get to the second or third penguin, the kids are going to be doing it with you, which is nice because that's one of the ways that you build literacy is by repetitious parts of the book. So that one's fun, quick, easy to read. Little Penguin Gets the Hiccups. This is the first year I've actually read this book. It's by Tag Bentley. It is a super cute book. The illustrations are great, but the penguin gets the hiccups and wants to get rid of them. And then they basically want you, the reader, to scare them. And it's just a super, super cute book. So that one I like very much. This one, I would probably talk about problem solving because the penguin gets hiccups and all of the things that are suggested he tries and they don't work. And so I think that is a great lesson to do with your own child or in a small group, with your kiddos in class, is what do we do when something doesn't go our way? How do we problem solve? Who do we ask and how many times do we try something? And so there is a nice resolution to this story at the end. One of his friends helps him get rid of the hiccups. The Penguin and the Pea is a version of The Princess and the Pea. And I didn't love this story, quite frankly. I would like it if I were doing a unit on fairy tales better than including this on a unit with penguins. But it did have a penguin as the main character, but not my favorite of the group. How Deep is the Sea? I had mixed feelings about this book because it's about this little penguin who at the beginning of the book asks their mom basically how deep is the sea, and then goes on to discover, asks and then goes on this adventure down into the sea. And at first I was like, well, okay, I don't know, because it does share good information about what you find at the bottom of the sea. But I don't know, there was just something about it. I don't always like it when they're mixed, when it's like kind of realistic, kind of not. So it was very well illustrated. It was a cute book, not my favorite. And it is an Usborne book, which I love Usborne. Let me do Penguins Everywhere. This was a super cute nonfiction book. I loved it because it was illustrated, so it wasn't actual pictures, but it was all great information that a young child would want to know. How do they talk to each other? How do they move? What do they call each other? And so I loved this book. I thought it was perfect for that age group. Penguins Everywhere by Barb Barnard. It's a scholastic book, so it's not going to be crazy expensive. And then we have 3 left. These 2 books, you might be surprised that I included because they are very, very simple books. Penguin's Present is actually an early reader, and it's about this penguin getting this present. And, is this your present? And so the penguin chick goes to each of these different animals, and they're like, no, it's too heavy for me, it's too big for me, it's too little for me. And although I like the realistic pictures, the present on top is a little bit goofy, right? But in the end, of course, the present is for the penguin. And, so the mom gives it to him. But what I really liked about this book is that I wouldn't necessarily use this as a book in my classroom as a read aloud, but I would put it in my book area, my reading area, for those children in my class who are getting ready to read, because there are a lot of words on these pages that they can read, or for some of my early readers. So that's why I included that book. This Science Cool Penguins book is awesome because it does include On the Move. And again, it's not so wordy that you would lose the interest of a 3 or 4-year-old. So, it shows where they live and the different types of penguins. So this book I also really enjoyed. I like books that are fact-based, but not so in-depth that the kids get kind of lost. Okay, winner, winner, chicken dinner. This was my favorite of the group that I'm showing you. This is Pierre the Penguin, a true story. I've never heard this story before. And again, it's an illustration, so I really thought it says it's a true story, but this is about Pierre who had a problem, and it was just so sweet. So in California, and you can actually, at the very end, the zookeeper, the aquatic biologist, I think she is, tells you how you can actually view the penguins' lives. So whether you're doing this in class or with your own child or, homeschooling group, I love those connections where you can then do a follow-up. So here is Pam. She feeds a penguin that takes care of them. And then look at the poor little guy. She finds out that he's not doing well. So again, she tries to problem solve. All these different things happen. And then it turns out that she comes up with this idea of a wetsuit for him. And that solves his problem. And so he wears this wetsuit for a long time, and then they take it off, and his feathers have grown back. So it for sure has a very happy ending. It is actually, it's really it really happened to them. And so I love that, because isn't that how life works? Things happen in real nature that sometimes work out. Sometimes, we have problems. But this is the other thing I really liked about this book. And I actually have this book on my other YouTube page, Book a Day for Little Learners, so you can listen to me read it aloud. I don't go through every single question on this because it would be way too long for a preschooler, but there were several that I highlighted, including things that I didn't know, like penguins, when they're at the zoo, have the little arm attachments, the little things that are on their flippers, on the left or the right, depending on if they're male and female. And when you see like two blues, that means that one of the blue is the female and one of the blues is the male, and those are the mates. Just things like that I thought were so interesting. And then here's the information about where you can actually visit them online and see them in real time. I just thought that was such an awesome book. Everything about this was so kid-friendly to me. The illustrations, the story, it was just terrific. So these are the books that I would have. This is my second grouping of my winter books. This one has to do with penguins. You are welcome to check out our other video on winter books. And then I have another video where I'm going to talk about all of the Tacky the Penguin books by Helen Lester. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit that thumbs up, and I hope you subscribe to our channel to get more information, not only about books that are thematically related, but also different lessons and activities that you can do in your classroom or with your own children. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.